Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This is the Serenity Prayer by Reinhold Niebuhr, which I believe is on the lips of many during the last 1 year, feeling quite helpless and powerless to deal with this pandemic. From March 2020, the world has been going through an unprecedented crisis for over a year, and it has further intensified during the last few weeks in India. During these trying times, we have been reading and listening to all kinds of stories of people battling with the coronavirus. In the recent days, we have been listening to stories of helplessness and desperation, where unable to get timely help, people have given up on life. Apart from these horrific stories, we have been also listening to stories of courage and heroism shown by doctors, nurses, and other frontline workers who are doing everything they can to save people. We also come across stories of good Samaritans going out of their way to reach out to those who are crying for help. We have many stories of people where they have demonstrated tremendous inner strength despite being alone and cut off from their dear ones. Finally, we have listened to the stories of individuals and families bouncing back after losing both lives and livelihoods during the last several months. Although the suffering resulting from this pandemic and the consequent lockdowns to curb the virus have demoralized some individuals who, unable to face the challenges, have given up on life, numerous others not only have been coping well with the new normal, but have been bouncing back and moving on with their life. This proves that there is a power within every human being, which not only gives them strength to fight back, but also gives them hope to survive faced with any adversity. Hence, in this video, I want to focus on the power of resilience in humans, or the power to bounce back. Who are the people who bounce back, and what makes them resilient despite the challenges this pandemic is posing? Coping with adverse situations appears to be central in the process of bouncing back. It's a process by which individuals and families during a crisis or stressful time like COVID-19 develop skills, resources, and behavioral patterns that assist them to adjust well to the demands of the situation. Resilience is the human ability to physiologically and psychologically adapt to tragedy, trauma, adversity, hardships, or other ongoing significant stressors. It's a survival skill or inner strength required of every human being to withstand any hardship or bounce back in the midst of adversities. This is quite evident from the time this calamity has struck the world in 2020, and especially during the second wave India has been facing. Resilience is a multidimensional dynamic construct made up of a variety of personal qualities such as spirituality, personal competence, and social competence. Individuals who possess these qualities are more likely to bounce back in any situations. How well an individual adapts to a traumatic event is determined by his or her level of resilience. If she or he demonstrates skills such as strong perceived competence and spirituality, then he or she is more likely to exhibit positive adaptive behaviors in the face of an adversity. On the contrary, if an individual exhibits behaviors associated with low resilience, such as anger, isolation, or substance abuse, then there is an increased likelihood that she or he will continue to function in a state of disruption. In this connection, women in all cultures have been found to have greater inner strength to deal with adversities compared with men. However, being resilient does not imply leading a stress-free life. On the contrary, it suggests that faced with the stresses of life, resilient people deal with them effectively or adapt successfully to a situation, even though they experience risk factors that are against good development. Maintaining good relationships, having an optimistic view of the world, keeping things in perspective, setting goals and taking steps to reach them, and being self-confident are all associated with resilience. Therefore, resiliency is not something you do, it is something you are. It is in you. It is an innate gift. It is a person's ability to weather stressors, large or small, to bounce back from trauma and to get on with life. This involves translating negative experience into positive ones and mustering the strength and confidence to change direction when a chosen path becomes blocked or non-productive. Resilience is the product of a complex relationship of inner strengths and outer health throughout a person's lifespan. For instance, optimism is an important personal quality that helps individuals to look at negative events positively. People who are high on optimism are found to have better psychological adjustment to negative life events. Studies have shown that higher levels of dispositional optimism is associated with lower levels of depression and stress. Individuals with optimistic outlook experience less distress across a broad range of stressful situations, have more positive social networks, and enjoy better physical health. Put it differently, highly resilient people are more likely to notice positive meanings within the problems they face. Spirituality or religion is another factor that empowers individuals to cope with negative situations effectively. It is believed that the practice of religion creates a meaning in people's life, provides them with a greater sense of control over their life situation, and enhances their self-esteem. Purpose in life or meaning in life is another inner strength that helps people to bounce back from the adverse situations. Viktor Frankel, the Austrian psychiatrist and psychotherapist, is a good example to this. According to him, the will to meaning is the primary motivational force that enables individuals to cope with adverse situations. Having lived in the concentration camp for 3 years, where he witnessed deaths of his companions on a daily basis, and yet he survived, Frankel attributed his survival to his will to meaning. He believed he had a reason to live and looked forward with hope. When people fail to have a reason to live, they easily become a prey to hopelessness and depression and give up on life. Along with the individual strategies of coping with adversity, the availability of social support is equally important. Research has shown that both exposure to negative events and low availability of social network support increases the probability of individuals manifesting psychological distress. On the other hand, the presence of at least one caring person who supports, trusts, and loves could make a whole lot of difference in fostering resilience in a person in the midst of an adversity. For example, social support from extended family members by providing financial and instrumental support during these days of pandemic can ease the situation for a person or a family. To conclude, in life, pain is inevitable, but misery is optional. Life is 10% how you make it, and 90% how you take it. We all know we cannot and shouldn't let our burdens paralyze our progress. Rather, believe in our power to bounce back in every situation. Jesus is a great model for us how to move on with life faced with the challenges in life. Through his life, he has shown us never to give up on the way, but to complete our journey, always keeping in mind the end point. He said, there is no shame in falling, but there is grace in rising. Hence, let us not allow this pandemic define our life. Let's rise above and show our inner strength, living life one day at a time, trusting in the Lord.